What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? You know what time it is. You know what place it is. We got another one for you tonight. We got the BirdCage LLC with a special guest tonight, man. Y'all got to tap in with us, man. We got Coach Diego Ryland in the building. But before we get into it with him, we're going to go ahead and get this show started off right. You know how we do it. You either get right or you get left. So let's go ahead and get right before you get left. Let's get to it.
Okay, y'all, this is it.
Has landed. Welcome to On the Perch.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to On the Perch. You know how we get down. You either get right or you get left, and you're going to go ahead and get right with us right now. So before we get this thing started, I got to bring in one of the gracious folks that come through here. We got Coach Brant in the building tonight helping me with this interview. What's going on, Coach B? How you doing, man? Long time no see, sir.
Doing just fine, How about yourself?
Man, it's always a blessing when you're here in the building, and definitely we got another coach in here. And what's funny is he has a lot of the stuff that you always talk about, and that's why you love Virginia Union. So, you know,
that's my team. Yep, that's my team.
I'm a Southern University guy. So, you know, it's all about them Bayou Jags. But you know what? I got to show a little bit of love to these cats today. As you can see, I got on the VA Union shirt, but you know, I got to give him a little love. He also is my brother at arms, just in a different service, but it's all good though. But man, let's go ahead and welcome to the building without any more debating on this or whatnot. We're going to go ahead and bring Coach Diego Ryland into the building tonight.
Make a clap to this.
What's going on, Coach?
Eric B for president. I appreciate that, man. What's going on?
Hey,
Ryan and
Coach
B. I appreciate you guys, man.
We can't give you just a regular hand clap. We just gotta
make a clap to this.
You a national champ, baby.
That's 1987, man. That's my favorite hip hop album.
And you know what? That's the year I was born in '87. So yes, sir.
Wow.
I was driving already.
Hey, so coach, man, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. I know the off season has been just pretty much a lot of things going on with Virginia Union at this point, but man, thank you for coming through, man.
I appreciate that, man, and thank you guys for having me, man. Love what you guys are doing. And Coach B, man, I didn't know you was such a big fan, man. We definitely got to connect after this offline, man.
Absolutely.
Most definitely. See, before we get started with your story, see, this is something that we do here in the show. We actually do a spotlight for players. And I have spotlights and things, and I've been doing, I changed it up this year. It's the first time I've, had video clips, but most of the time we're doing spotlights. Coach Brant, we talked about it, and he always said, I always liked Virginia Union. And the funny part about it was I interviewed Dr. Joe Taylor a couple of years ago when I first started the podcast. And, Dr. Willard Bailey, I still talk to him. I'm trying to get him, we've been having some technical difficulties, but now that I got the camera, I'm actually going to go take a trip to go see him at his new school and interview him. But man, you standing on some shoulders, Dr. Joe Taylor and Willard Bailey, Lord Jesus.
Man, not only them two, man, Dr. Alvin Parker.
Yes, sir.
Great leader. a great motivator, man, strategic thinker, analytic coach that's really about the numbers, man. And I'm just blessed and fortunate to be a part of his staff and what we got going on here at Virginia Union.
And you guys won, we're going to get into your story, but 2 back-to-back national championships. You're a running back coach as well as a special teams coach as well, and also help with the quarterbacks. You've had 2 2,000-yard rushes. We just saw the Harlan Hill Award winner and Mr. Curtis Allen, who's now getting an opportunity with Seattle. Ian Cunningham, I told you this is a kid that you should have looked at. I called this, but he's going to do great things there. And then you had Jada Byers, who had over 2,000 yards the year before. You just got the Midas touch. Can you come to University of Georgia and actually coach some of our running backs up there? See, Brandon's a Tennessee guy. He don't count right now. This is a dog asking. I'm a
hey, Coach Linguist, he's there. No, he's at Alabama. I would say Alabama. I know you don't want to hear that.
No.
But man,
one of us want to hear Bama.
Or Florida.
Hey, look. I'm okay. I'm okay, man. It's as a coach, man, you want to be where your feet is and you want to put your best foot forward. And my motivation, man, is just try to make sure I got the best position group and the best segment that I'm actually in charge of. So it's a competition within the competition amongst our coaching staff. All right, everybody want to have the best position group. Everybody want to have the best segment. So it's competition, but it's friendly. And with that competition, man, we try to win a lot of games. So it's friendly, but it's still a competition.
Well, it's not much competition where you have 2 2,000-yard rushes and one just won a Harlan Hill. So you pretty much can walk through that building and let them know, like, yeah, y'all got to catch up.
Yeah, I mean it's a collective effort though. It's not it's not just me.
Mm-hmm.
It's our offensive coordinator, our offensive line coach, Quinn Brown. It's our receivers coach, Montario Han, our tight ends coach, Justin Smith, our assistant offensive line coach, Kevin Dent, as well as Dr. Alvin Parker, who's actually calling our offense on game day. So we come together collectively, man, and put a plan together and try to score as many points as we can. That's what we try to do. We try to take advantage of any weaknesses that the defense have. So that's what we try to do collectively, and we've been doing a pretty good job of it.
2 national championships back to back, 2023, 2024 CIAA championships, and just amazing work with one of the only HBCUs within the last 10 to 15 years that has been winning consistently.
60 and 19.
Not just
60
mm-hmm.
60 wins to 19 losses. That's 76% win percentage. And you look at it, I think Coach Tremaine Jackson put something out about the SWAC. He's at 76%. Coach Chinnisbury, he's at 78%. But they haven't played as a head coach. They haven't played as many games as Dr. Alvin Parker has as a head coach. Although those coaches are exceptionally well and love all of them, man. Have a personal relationship with Coach Jackson as well as Coach Berry, man. Awesome motivator. They get it and they do it the right way. And we all take from each other and we take that knowledge and try to put it to use in what we do. So,
okay. So we're going to start this thing off right. Like I said, you came into the cage tonight and you're on the perch with us. So we're going to go ahead and we do this for all of our guests that come through. We make sure that we have some likeness and images behind you so folks can see a little bit of your story somewhat, because the picture tells a little bit of the story, not all of it, but just a little. But you're a Virginia guy from Norfolk area, grew up in humble beginnings, just to put it that way. We all know. Well, the fans don't know, but we know. When you look at how you grew up and you started off, what got you into football? Who was your favorite player? And who was somebody that you looked up to that pushed you towards getting into playing football coming up in the Norfolk area?
So, growing up in Norfolk, man, in the Hampton Roads area is a really big hotbed for talent. Even back then, my favorite player, honestly, was Franco Harris. I was actually, I'm a Philadelphia Eagles fan now, but growing up, I was a Franco Harris fan. That was my favorite running back. And then when the Steelers let him go and Randall Cunningham became quarterback at the Eagles, that's when I became an Eagles fan. I've been an Eagles fan since. But what's crazy, man, is my mom. God rest her soul, man. My mom, pushed me into football, and the first coach I ever had was a guy by the name of Jerry Alford. Great man. First position I ever played was running back for the Norfolk, the Neptunes back in the days. I'm talking about averaging 4 touchdowns a game. We just playing football. That's all we did. Play football in the backyard, and that was pretty much it. Everybody played football. You're talking about girls and young boys growing up. Everybody was playing football, and that's what we did all day. We were outside. You know how the people say that, they outside? We was outside. When your parents locked the door, my mom would lock the door and wouldn't let you come back in the house. You had to drink from the water fountain type stuff. So, and it was fun growing up. It was really fun growing up the way we did, man, and I wouldn't change it for the world.
And when you talk about that area, because like you said, it's not just football. You talk about the talent that's been around that way, because we had the legendary Bobby Dandridge on the show, Norfolk, pretty much around that way. You talk about Bruce Smith being from around that way. One of my favorite fighters of all time, Mr. Sweet Pea Whitaker, legend around that area. And then you look at Lawrence Taylor that's being from Lynchburg, Virginia. Then you look at Williamsburg, Virginia. I'm sorry, Williamsburg, Virginia. That was Charles Haley that's from Lynchburg. My fault.
Haley's from, yep.
And so Charles Haley, and you look at, and then another guy, he's a Canadian Football League Hall of Famer. I kind of had some ties to him at one point in life, but that was a mistake I made. But you got to sit back and you look at Mr. Earl Winfield, who's pretty much from around that Dunwoody area, who played for the Hamilton Tiger Cats back in the day. So when you look at and that's old school. We ain't even talking about Allen Iverson, Vic, and all those guys that you grew up around during that time. I'm just talking about then. So what was it like competitively around that way, growing up, getting into high school, when you start playing football and your name started getting a little bit of buzz around the city? What is that atmosphere like around that Norfolk Hampton Roads area?
It was very competitive, man. It was a neighborhood thing. See, growing up in that area, you didn't have a lot of kids, transferring, going to this school and going to that school because they're winning, right? Like when I got to Lake Taylor, we weren't good at basketball. We weren't good at basketball. We were really good in football. Freshman year, we go to the playoffs. Sophomore and junior year, we weren't that good, but we were close. And then my senior year, we go undefeated, which was the first undefeated team in the school history. 1992, and we were, the number one team in the state, but you had Brooks, at Ferguson back then. You had AI playing quarterback, and that's Bethel, man. They were really good. And actually, if Bethel don't win the last game of the season, they don't even make the playoffs. Because back then, only 4 teams went to the playoffs. Right now, it's 8 teams get a chance to go to the playoffs. So people don't really know the backstory to that. We were the number 1 seed, and they were the number 4 seed, and they beat us. And then they went on to play Norcom after Norcom beat Hampton, who was the number 2 seed. So I mean, it was very competitive, man. Very competitive. You had Bayside that was really good. Phoebus was actually 8-2 back then. Phoebus been good for a long time, and they were 8-2 and didn't make the playoffs. Right, so that's how competitive it was. You had to be really good, and you have to play some really good teams, right? Because if you play some not so strong teams, even though you won, they got this thing in Virginia, VHSL, called a power rating. You won't make the playoffs. So it's changed over the years. We always joke that the kids nowadays got the LeBron effect. Everybody want to team up. So that's what it is. So
yeah.
Man, so I'm gonna let Coach get to the next part, but you look at getting to college, you're starting to get your buzz around the city, North Carolina State. How does that come about, and what made you look at NC State at that time?
So our head coach at the time, God rest his soul, Bert Hurl, was the head coach my senior year. but Billy Morrow was an All-American at NC State. And he introduced me to one of the coaches that came down, and he thought I forget the coach name. It's been so long. But he said that if I pass the SAT, and a lot of the young guys don't know now, we had this thing called Proposition 48 back in the day. So you had to pass the SAT with a 700 score. And I was not successful because I had a whole lot of other things going on. Being a senior in high school, having a child, I had other responsibilities. So I didn't pass it. So they wanted me to come as a walk-on, and my mom told me, God rest her. So I had to work. So I started working, and Coach Faison and Coach Anderson. Coach Lou Anderson was the head coach at Virginia State at the time. They got me to come up to Virginia State. So when I got to Virginia State, found out I couldn't play there, and ended up having another child. And, my oldest son, who's 32, my mom told me I had to join the military. So that's what, got me into the military. My mom and Coach Anderson, Coach Anderson, he said, hey, son, you need to go join the military. You got a responsibility. I understand. And that's what happened, man. I joined the military. So after joining the military, I coached high school ball all over the country, volunteering. Junction City in Kansas, Indian River in New York, Lake Taylor in Virginia, Bethel, Woodside, Terry Sanford in North Carolina. So I was all over the place. Everywhere I got stationed, I tried to give back by volunteering. But, my last duty station here in Newport News, Virginia, as an aviation guy working at the AIT, I coached in high school at Bethel High School, and I needed to finish my degree. So God gave me the motivation to go over and speak to Connell Maynor, who was the head coach at Hampton University at that time. And I went over there and poured my heart out to coach and told him, look, coach, I just need some 400 volunteer hours so I can graduate. This is what I've been doing. I had my resume and everything done up, and he brought me on in the spring of 2016. And, he liked the work ethic I had and what I did with the running backs, and he brought me on. And, I was with him up until 17, and then he took the job at Alabama A&M after resigning at Hampton. And I've been at Virginia Union ever since. I can tell it's another story about how I got to Virginia Union. So, but
we're going to get to that. Coach is going to get to that part. But I got to give a shout out to Cornell Maynor's, his former coach, who we had on here a while ago, and we still support, Coach Bill Hayes, legend HBCU, who coached Cornell Maynor as his quarterback, and his teammate is one of our mentors. We sit back and talk about it, Coach Anthony Blaylock, who just got in the CIAA Hall of Fame 2 years ago. Yep. As one of my guys. My guy Scoop played for him, but he's like a mentor to me. Still talk to him. But we got to give a shout out to those guys, because without them, we wouldn't have had some of the opportunities that we've had with HBCUs. And got to give a shout out to Coach Maynor, because he's also a legend in this game as a coach and also as a quarterback as well. So a lot of people don't understand. Look, the swagger, the cockiness, look, that's just who Coach is, but he'll give you the shirt off his back if you really talk to him. He is from a lot of the people that I've heard. He just kind of likes to juke at people. That's just Coach. He's
earned it. He's earned the right. He's earned the right to be that way. You know what I mean? And some people take it personal, but that's just who he is.
Well, look, we're Falcon fans. We former Falcon took it personal, but it's like, hey man, that's part of the game. You got to just take it. And if you thought that was bad, you have been like, shout out to Coach Prime, but you wasn't really around HBCUs, because it get worse than what you got. Trust me, it gets worse when you talk about the rivalries. He wasn't there long enough to experience.
Right.
So it's just what. But Coach, what you got for Coach Ryland?
Coach Ryland, give us your experience about the hardship. I'm going to say hardships, because I know personally for you it was going from having your goals and dreams of playing, and God sometimes interjects and points you in a different direction, and it happens in how you stand on that and what you would tell young people now how to deal with those situations.
Adversity hit after I was, I had to join the military. I actually fell out of love with football. Like I fell out of love with, football. And I was mad at the game, but the game didn't do it to me. I did it to myself. I made the decisions to be promiscuous, even though it was my girlfriend who ended up being my wife, who's now my ex-wife. But it's still, when you're growing up in a one-parent home and no one is there, especially not having a father, growing up without a father, I wanted to do something different. I wanted to be different. I wanted something more. What that more was, I couldn't put my hand on it. So, I'm matriculating through my military career. And in 1999, I was stationed at Fort Eustis working for General Abrams, who was a TRADOC commander at the time, and General Solomon, who was the COSCOM commander at the time, working on their VIP aircraft at Fort Eustis. It was a gentleman who was the president of the Hampton Tornadoes organization, which is a Peninsula Youth Football Association. He asked me, hey, man, you play ball, you know a lot. Those kids would really help and benefit out, So what I did was, I thought about it. I talked to family members and talked to Coach Conley, who was my mentor in high school, who was a track coach, and he coached JV basketball. He was a mentor of mine, and he said I should get back into it. So as I got back into it, at the time, you got Tyrod Taylor playing youth football then. He was a quarterback on the youth football team,
Yep.
right? And I fell back in love with the game. So, ever since then, I've just been coaching ever since then. So that was my motivation to give back, because there was a lot of young men out there that didn't have both parents. A lot of them didn't have fathers, and I wanted to give them something that I did not have, right? A father figure, somebody who was positive, who they could look in the positive limelight, and they can ask questions, and they can grab to, and they can look up to, and that was my motivation initially.
I respect that. I love it. I know you were just like every other child growing up. Your dream is, I want to be in the NFL. I want to win a Super Bowl. I want to Major League Baseball, NBA, you name it. And I've had to realize this too. I mean, when I got done playing, but sometimes the game is better for you than you are for the game. And there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. And it's something that you can always extend the olive branch and be a light for somebody else and point them down the right path and give them some guidance. And it's still rewarding to me. I have players now that are in their 40s and have kids, and that still, when they come up and they hug me and, hey, coach, it about makes me tear up. It's something that never goes away.
Yeah, it is, and it's two sides to it too, though, because with the military background, man, you deployed, you're away from your family, and the relationship that you have with your children isn't what it should be, and your children can sometimes feel some kind of way because they feel like somebody else's child or another kid is getting the attention that they should be getting. So it's, when we talk about adversity, man, it's adversity, on all fronts of life, and you got to deal with it. You got to deal with it, and as they get older, with prayer, you would hope that they would, pray for forgiveness and understanding. Sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. But again, God put me on this earth to do what I do, and that's a ministry of mine, and that's giving back.
Well, thank you. Appreciate you very much.
So when you speak on your military career, because I kind of want to talk a little bit about that, you retired. A lot of people a lot of people get to that point in their career. You know, it's a lot. It's more folks that don't get to that point than getting to the point of retirement because of so many different things, whether it's self-inflicted or whether it's medical or whatnot. And you know, me being a vet myself, me and you've had a conversation. Like I said, I take ownership for it. I got in trouble at one point, and it cost me my career, but I never let it stop me. And like you, what that you from your Army days with that you applied to your coaching career? Because you and I had a conversation the other day, things, and you know, like I told you, these young men need guys like you out here, and they need to have an example because there are a lot of coaches out here who really don't care about these kids and what can they bring to the table as grown men and not just football players anymore. It's a lot of coaches who just care about the wins, but they don't care about these young step game.
Right.
So, what did you take away if you don't mind answering that for me?
I got you. So what I've done, you know, my end game was to be successful and be something that I never had, right? And it was ultimately just to be the best father I could be. Right? I didn't have a playbook, you know what I mean? I didn't have anybody I could follow, right? So I had to try to figure it out. So it was all trial and error for me. So going through the military, what I did was, you know, and I was one of the top recruiters in the United States Army when I did recruiting. So, and you know, I always took to the point where I would try to find what their end goal was. What was their dreams, goals, and aspirations, right? And then I would use the military, how you can use the military to reach those dreams, goals, and aspirations, right? And I do the same thing in football, right? I try to find out what is their end goal. Like if your end goal is to try to get on the next level, you got to do next level things, right? And like I told you guys before, we're an analytical staff. We do a lot of numbers, right? And we look at a lot of statistics. I mean, as far as a running back, I look at speed, I look at size, I look at pass protection. I mean, it's so many things that you have to be. And coming from a Division II program or any program that's not FBS, you have to be extra good. So if you fast, I mean, if you talking about speed, you have to be, excuse my French, you have to be either fast as hell, strong as hell, or you have to have video game-like numbers. If you don't have one of those three, you're going to have a hard time trying to make it on the next level, right? When you look at it, and I'll go back to Jada. You know, Jada ran a 4.7 at the combine, right? He only did 9 reps of 225, right? And he ran a 4.7. With his small stature, even though he had 2,000 odd yards, with his small stature, you as a small guy, you got to be fast, right? Yeah, you can make people miss, you know, but they put a combine in place, right? Because they want the best of the best. And that's what the NFL is, the best of the best, quote unquote. There's a lot of guys that don't get an opportunity. Even in basketball, there's a lot of guys that don't get an opportunity. That don't mean that they're not best of the best. They just didn't pass the test, or they put themselves in a situation that, like for yourself, you know, not finishing your military career, you may have made a mistake. So you have to be on point in every aspect of life, as well as the game. You try and excel and get to the top level too.
And when you look at how you preach that or whatnot, and here's the other thing, just making you uses if you're a man. And that's just how I look at it, because you got to take ownership for whatever happened. Mistake, you got to have a solution for it, because at the end of the day, okay, you have your moment to lick your wounds, like you say, coach, but at the same time, you got to have the discipline and resolve to pick yourself up and still continue to carry yourself forward. And a lot of guys don't stand that point. When adversity hits, you got to hit it just as hard as it hits you. And that's just the mindset you got to have.
Yes.
And you know, that's the old safety ink out, because I never believed in laying down. If you're going to carry me off my shield. That's how I see it. Carry me off. I can't make an excuse. And telling your story about how you didn't make an excuse You had to detour away to take care of your responsibilities, that your children, and then for you to get back to what you love and you felt love with, it's a lot. Because most people stay away from things and they look like, damn, you know, I used to do this here, but they don't want to get back in because it's painful. They don't want to pass it on to somebody else. Me, I've coached a little bit, not too much. I find I'll be able to still talk football and interview folks because I still love the game. If I give me at least one good year, I got eligibility. I come down there and play for you. I'll tell you that now.
Well, I say this here, man. You know, when you talk about military, you know, the running back room here at Virginia Union is probably the toughest room to be in. It is. And I use a basic training mantra, honestly. Like, I break them down. And what I do is, after I break them down, I build them back up, right? I have to break old habits, bad habits. And a lot of the guys that come, you know, in high school, they're not really taught the position. They just give them the ball and let them go, right? They don't understand. They don't understand blocking schemes. They don't understand how important pass protection is. You know, we do everything here by the numbers. They don't understand how important steps are, right?
Yeah.
Right. They you know, and it's, I prepare 4 running backs. I won't say we prepare 4 running backs here at Virginia Union to be the starter. So that's why when people say, you know, before Jada, there was a Tobias Taylor who led the whole NCAA Division II in all-purpose yards, right? So we've had some guys, and we'll always have some guys as long as Dr. Alvin Parker is the head coach and Diego Ryland is the running back coach here. We will always have a solid running back, and he'll be one of the top running backs in the country.
But Virginia Union, just to be honest, has had a tradition and good and great running backs going back to when this program started. It's always been that way. And I mean, Coach, talk about laugh. You know, I love my Georgia Bulldogs. We're running back you, and I love my SU Jags and whatnot. But I look at them boys out of Virginia, and I just say it's a factory. Just like if you say UGA, you know running back. You know you're going to get somebody that's going to compete. I see the same thing with Virginia Union, and that's why Coach Brandon tell you I politic hard for all HBCUs. Walter Payton is my favorite athlete. That was my guy. I grew up watching his highlights.
Sweetness.
And you know, wasn't the fastest, wasn't the biggest, wasn't the strongest, but you couldn't break him. You couldn't break him. And that is what I feel as if you guys have at Virginia Union when you talk about the mantra of these backs, because, okay, you know how the media likes to pick everything apart. This guy didn't run this fast. Turn on the tape. Turn on the tape. I need you to see what the contact balance looks like. I need you to see what the heartbeat looks like after they get their jock strap knocked in the dirt and they get up and they run this play just as hard on the next carry. I need you to look at all this stuff, because I can point out a lot of these guys that got drafted in this draft, no disrespect to Love and all those guys there, but I can tell you some guys that went in this draft that can't carry, and I'm saying this. You don't have to. I'm saying it because I'm independent as a podcast, and I can say this. There's a lot of running backs that couldn't carry Curtis Allen's jock strap. I'm saying that because Curtis reminds me so much of Edgerrin James in his prime. And the way that you guys as a staff collectively put that out there, and we're not even talking about your passing offense because y'all were good at that too. But running the ball the way he does, great blocker. That's, to me, I feel like that's his greatest quality, pass protection. And no one talked about that. Coach Brand heard me talk about it many a days. Yeah. So whatever you're doing with those kids over there, Coach, keep doing it. We're going to take a quick commercial break, y'all.
Yeah.
Because we'll get into Coach's favorite games and so many other things. We definitely got a lot more to come. So y'all sit back and relax. We got you covered. Tap in every Thursday night at 8 p.m. for the BirdCage LLC with the magnificent BirdCage crew, getting it in and talking Falcon football every Thursday at 8. If you don't get that, we also got On the Perch for you. We have special guests that come through during the off season, and then we also have Bumper to Bumper in the morning where you get your morning feel of the historian's thoughts, man. You know how we get down, man. Tap into it. Welcome. Get a break. Coach Diego Ryland in the building tonight, talking about his life story, Virginia Union, so many things. Let's go ahead and get to the football stuff now. We've pretty much talked a little bit about, in a sense, what motivates you to keep coming back to these young men, and what is your favorite moment that you've had as a coach so far, whether it's at Virginia U or whether it's at Hampton University? What is your favorite moment?
Honestly, I don't want to
So
put
far,
his name out there. Honestly, Ryan, I don't want to put his name out there, but one of my favorite moments coaching was helping a young man who graduated. Right after he graduated, he got a job teaching, helping him purchase his first home.
Wow.
That's the excitement, because and any running back in our room, they'll tell you it's more. My saying is, it's more to football than football. It's more to football than the game, right? You use the game as a tool to guide you through life, because there's so many lessons in life that you'll go through, as well as adversities, right? You're going to go through those things in a game and in football. So we talk about in our meeting rooms, man, and there's a lot of players on the team. They can hear us talking, and they're like, man, y'all be talking about everything. Like, we talk about, I check their credit score. I mean, I have them do everything, because I want them not only to be the best football player, I want them to be a great man, right? And I want them to be prepared for life after the game, because, everybody know the game has an expiration date on it, right? So that was one of the most, that's the thing that stick out to me as far as being a college football coach. And I cried just helping that young man, because there's a lot of coaches that's coaching currently, Division I, FBS, FCS, Division II, D3, NAIA. There's a lot of guys coaching, man, that don't own a house, don't own a home, right? And they have families, right? So that's important to me, and it means a lot, especially coming from where I come from, where I think I was the first person in my entire family to have a house built from ground up, or own a house, right? So that's a motivation of mine, to make sure these young men are prepared to be the best man that they could be.
Coach, I got a question for you. You all obviously have set the standard at Virginia Union for your expectations. How do you go about managing and getting everybody, because everybody's different, from Jada to Curtis Allen? Everybody's got different size, stature, style. How do you get each individual person to meet the standard?
So what we do is we find the best quality traits that we want in a running back, because the running back is the reads don't change because of who you are, because of your speed, because of your size. None of that stuff changed. The steps, none of that stuff changes, right? So it's what you do. If you take the coaching and what we're preaching here at Virginia Union, because a lot of people don't know this. We've had, since Dr. Alvin Parker's been here, we've had different offensive line coaches. We've had three different offensive line coaches since we've been here, right? And people don't know that, right? They don't really pay attention to that. But myself and Dr. Parker are the common denominators when it comes to that. And what I teach in this room, everybody get taught the same way, the same thing. There's certain things that they got to work on all season. Like, they may have to work on the ability to one-step cut. They may have to work on top end. They may have to work on balance when, picking up pass protection. I mean, every individual is different. Their needs are different. I will say this year we're bringing in 3 freshman running backs, and all of them have similar statures, right? So this is the first time that we've done that. So it's going to be fun. This fall is going to be a whole lot of fun. We have a stable of running backs here at Virginia Union. We have Raphael Tucker, Trayvon Tinsley, Tavon McGee, Jameer Freeman, Ramon Brown, and then we got the 3 freshmen coming in, Dayron Ferguson, Keon Johnson, and then we got a 3-star running back coming in, Mike Farley. And everybody's wondering how in the world you guys get a 3-star running back to come to Virginia Union. It's about relationships, building relationships, trust, having the trust, as well as seeing the results and the hard work that these guys are putting in, getting those stats.
Yeah.
So,
Curtis Allen, I want to say one thing about Curtis Allen, watching him, and I wish him all the best going to Seattle. I was really hoping he'd wind up in Flowery Branch, but
yes.
that kind of broke my spirit a little bit. But anyways, he has I know Ryan said he reminds him of Edgerrin James, but he has a little Le'Veon Bell in him too. He's a very patient runner. He's patient but aggressive, and when it's time to cut, it's time to cut. One like you were saying, one step. Love it when you make that decision. It's time to get up and go.
So I agree with you 100% when it comes to that comparison, and the reason why Le'Veon Bell was probably the best duo runner in the NFL, right? And that's one of our biggest run plays here. I mean, I can say it. It's on film. You have to be patient in order to be successful in that run scheme. If you're not,
you're running that counter tray, and he was dissecting it. He would come underneath and he would see it, and bam, he was gone. I love it.
Well, Coach B, I can't give my sauce on this, but it's strategic. A lot of running back coaches, they teach. Of course they teach. Aiming point and track, right? But I not only teach aiming point and track, I teach aiming point, track, and entry point. And the entry point is the only thing that'll change depending upon the read. I've had FBS, FCS, NFL coaches, inquiring about some of that stuff too. And I generally give the sauce. The last couple of years I've done the HBCU NFL combine. I give those guys, we talk football, and I sat down and talked with all of them. Any of the guys that have been in the NFL combine, HBCU NFL combine the last 2 years, you can ask those guys the questions, and they'll tell you, wow, coach, I didn't even think like that. So we do a pretty good job here collectively, and I'm proud of the guys, and I'm proud of what we do. Yeah.
Well, you're knocking it out of the park. Keep up the great work.
And when you sit back and look at that, I just sit back and just say it's really impressive that, like you say, it's a simple mantra, but it seems complicated to those who don't understand. But that really is hard to grasp because you break it down so fundamentally for people to grasp it. You make it simple. It's kind of, I even go back to our military days. You were in way before I was. I came in 2011, got out 2019. But the one thing I had my company commander, y'all call them drill sergeants or drill instructors. My company commander, I had one who was prior Marine, and he used to tell us all the time, I just got to keep this simple because y'all aren't that smart. And he made the joke about it, and we're like, what do you mean? It's like, and I'm just thinking, he says, I don't need you to think it's hard. I need you just to make it a natural reaction. When I say something, you just boom. And he of course, they're going to yell, but he was scary because he would rarely raise his voice, and he was the one that would whisper to you. And when he whispered to you, you just get nervous because you knew what was coming. But the way that you break that down for your running backs, like you said, you break them down, you build them up, and you make it easy for them to understand. It's just like, it's like listening to basic training all over again. That's what it feels like.
That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. And I could say that we've perfected it here at Virginia Union. A lot of guys trying to figure out, man, how, and it's easy. If you teach them the blocking scheme and they understand the blocking scheme, it allows those guys to play fast. They don't have to think, right? You want to keep the KISS method, man. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. So, if you keep it simple, those guys play really, really fast. And it's control speed is what we like to use, right? We call it control speed because you have to be patient to allow your blocks to happen, and then you have to hit it, right? That's where that speed comes from. So if they don't know it, you'll see if they're not patient, first of all, they're going to be on the wrong step to be able to make a cut, right?
Yep.
You know, a lot of guys have issues with that, right? And if you're too fast, you don't allow your blocks. If it's a double climb, you won't allow your blocks to happen. So we do a pretty good job at that. And we break it down. We do it by the numbers. Like it's 1, 2, 3. You know, I do it by the numbers like we did in the military. So.
And when you look at it, because I and this is the thing I got to give to you guys have a hell of an offensive line because of the production that you guys have had for running backs and then your quarterbacks to be able to pass. I think y'all should have more offensive linemen getting opportunities to go to the NFL or even get a chance to play in the Canadian Football League. In my opinion, I think it should be more Virginia Union guys going, because if you look at the production, you guys have one of the best special team units in the country, and you take pride in special teams because I know you help run that. So when you look at the pride that you take into this program and what you put in it, what's the most memorable game that you've experienced as a coach with this team, or even in Hampton, that just made you proud to say, you know what, they finally get it, or it just clicked and everything went right that day?
So I have a bunch of special moments. I'll give you one at Hampton, and the coaches like Dwayne Taylor, Coach Maynard, I always mess with those guys about it. I think we were playing Livingstone at Hampton, and I'm just a rookie college coach, and Dwayne Taylor was the offensive coordinator who's now at Alcorn State coaching receivers. Man, awesome dude. He was up in the box, and I'm like, Coach, we need to run inside zone weak. And the running back I had at the time was Yaki Johnson. And, he took my advice and we ran it and ran a 75-yard touchdown when he called a play. So that was one. And then I would say, because, you got Jada against Bowie, you got Curtis against Bluefield State, but I would say the Virginia State game 2 years ago, they had like 16,000 people here. We blocked a whole bunch of kicks, ran a couple back. One got called back. That game was it was exciting. It was the game. Whoever won that game went to the CIAA championship, and that was our first championship run. And I think that was the most memorable game I've had being here at Virginia Union, because it was electric. It was electric. The crowd was into it. Special teams was going crazy. Jada was running all over the place. Man, it was electric. So that's the game. And being I'm a Virginia State Trojan, old school Trojan, and I'm still on a group chat with all the Big Blue. But that was probably the most memorable game, the Virginia State game 2 years ago.
And about that game, Coach Brant and I were actually watching it, because I actually told him what it was, because I was watching it live. I said, hey, Coach, he looked on the TV, he said, I got to get this stream. And we both sat and we were on the phone literally watching that game and breaking it down, because I got laughed at, because I said, if we get rid of Tyler Algier, give me Jada Byers. And then I remember I said, then it's a kid behind him, and I watched him run. And that was the second time I had saw Curtis Allen, because he played mop-up duty, of course. And I told Coach, I said, he gonna be the next one. And Coach Brand said, how you figure? I said, just watch him. And we got to watching, and Coach was like, right. I said, whatever they doing down there, I said, he gonna be a problem. But I heard a little bit about Tobias. Like you say, Tobias was a special back too. I went back and looked at some of his clips or whatnot. Didn't really get to see him too much. At that time, I was going through some stuff at the time. He was at Virginia Union, so football had kind of eviscerated.
That kid was different, Ryan. Ryan, that kid was different. If COVID don't happen, Tobias is still here at Virginia Union in 21 playing. But because we didn't have a season, and MEC had a season, so he transferred to Notre Dame of Ohio. He rushed for 1,000 yards in 4 games.
Yeah, I believe it. Yeah.
And the crazy thing about it is he called me more when he was at the Notre Dame of Ohio. I talked to Tobias more when he was there than when he was at Virginia Union. That's the crazy.
Again, this is what happens when you have great coaches that are mentors that you lean on. You know, I told you and matter of fact, he's in the chat. What's up, Coach? Coach McGriff, my old coach that I told you about. I lean on him and my old high school coach, Deion Brooks, who played at FAMU for Coach Billy Joe. And, you know, it's just one of those things where it's beautiful to hear that they still contact you and they still stay in touch because, man, you know, I got a former coach that I played for that if I saw him today, I'd probably say, hey, how you doing? I just keep it moving. I wouldn't even have a 5-minute conversation with him. But again, this is why I told you the other day on the phone. You play a vital role in a lot of young men's lives. I know coaching job comes with the struggles up and down, dealing with boosters, kids with attitudes because they're not playing. It's a lot you deal with. But for the most part, these kids to trust you like you have, coach, you're gonna bring greatness out of them as people, not football players, as people. And we need more people that's like you because there's too many coaches that are getting this money, but they're not worried about developing these young men for life. And that's the reason why we have so many crash outs out here right now that are, you know, doing foolishness right now. Because I keep it honest with you. And you, Brant, you might get mad at me and some of y'all Falcon fans. Y'all, you know, it is what it is. If James Pierce Jr. had a role model and had a mentor,
I know. Yeah.
half stuff would have not happened and we wouldn't be going back and forth. Y'all can be mad at me for saying it, but I don't care. He's got to get one right now. He needs a mentor. Yes, he got out of the situation, and we're not going to say how, but he's out of it. Thank God. Hopefully he takes this second opportunity and moves forward, but has somebody that cares about him that's going to structure and help him along if he has somebody he listens to.
Well,
consequences and repercussions are character builders, and that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the guys they want that structure, dude. They want it. They really want the structure. But again, you know, going back to the point that you said, you know, a lot of coaches are in it for the wrong reasons, right? You know, when you hear coaches, because I'm around a bunch of coaches, when you hear coaches say, you know, they don't pay the coach, right? That kind of irks me, you know. And then when you hear coaches saying, you know, this is how I feed my family and stuff like that. Yeah, that's, you know, you're going to feed your family with or without football. It should be, your investment should be in that young man you're trying to develop, not, you know, because that's what your passion is, not because you're getting millions of dollars, right? And that's the difference. And I think that's one of the reasons why, you know, we're successful here. We don't do it, of course, for the money, because we don't have the resources that a lot of those guys have anyway. I mean, hell, we don't even have a full allotment of scholarships here, but we don't complain, right? Our job is to grind and give these kids the best college football experience that we can possibly provide.
I want to give you all a feather in your cap to talking about your all scheme, and you and I talked about this briefly before the show started. I absolutely love that you all do what you do instead of being tied to, oh, I'm a zone read team. That's it. And this is what I do. You all run Virginia Union's offense, and you do it out of different formations and motion. And you're multiple. You can be in 5 wide. You can be in 3 tights. You can be in pro set. You can be in spread. I love it. And you're doing the same thing. And they're football players.
Yep.
They're not scheme. You're coaching football players, and it's a lost art with a lot of people now that I see. Of course, I'm kind of the angry old guy watching stuff nowadays, but I'm just saying that it was different. We didn't come off the field back when we played. You know
right.
that,
right?
And
yes.
You learned football, and you all are doing that, and I appreciate it. And it shows what you all are teaching and coaching. So that's good. I appreciate it.
Well, Coach B, if you could, you know, if you could run the same play 10 different ways, like I told you before, we're an analytical staff. We do so much self-scout. Coach Parker have us sometimes feeling like we preparing to play ourselves, right?
Yep.
Because we do so much self-scouting, which we love. We try to figure out our tendencies and try to figure out how we can break the tendencies because, that's what we do. We gotta be better at it. So we just try our best to take advantage of any defensive weaknesses that we can, right? And it may change week by week based off who we play. So
I get it. I've told Ryan many times. He would ask what it is. I said you can't be predictable. People, if you're third and short on the right hash, we know they're running X, Y, Z. You can't do that. You got to give them a different look and do the same thing, but make it look different.
But we were dealing with that with our Falcons with Zach Robinson, and we talked about this because Coach Brent and I, like we said, we're like you're talking about the scheme. The main thing that we said was the first mistake was, and I don't like to bag on black coaches because I want them to succeed at every level because I know the pressures that come on there because I got some friends who are there. But Raheem failed. Coach Morris failed by not putting veteran guys around a first-time offensive coordinator that had never been an OC. And the one thing I got to give Kevin Stefanski credit about, because that whole situation in Cleveland is a mess right now, period. So maybe Stefanski might be the answer for us. But the two things he did, he put Coach Alex Van Pelt as a quarterback coach that also was an OC at one point around pretty much in this offense. And then you brought in Bill Callahan, who not only is an offensive line coach, but is a former offensive coordinator. You have over 30 years of experience that's going to be working with Tommy Rees. Tommy Rees is
a Super Bowl coach too.
Yeah,
exactly. And matter of fact, one of our guests, Lincoln Kennedy, shout out to BirdCage alum Lincoln Kennedy. He's going through a few things, brother. You and our prayers out there, man. So please just lean on God in this tough time, man. We got you and we got love for you. But Lincoln played for him when he was with the Raiders, and Lincoln actually talked about it. He said Atlanta's offensive line is getting ready to get that much better because Bill Callahan is a guy that understands
that triangle. He's that zone. You know exactly what I'm talking about, Coach.
He understands coaching. Link said there's a few things you're going to get. Your line's going to be tough. They're going to be smart. And the other thing they're going to be is physical. And the other thing they're going to be is fundamental. He said all those things are going to be there because he, like you said, he's going to break those little habits. But when you look at that, have you ever seen any situations like so our coaching career where you got a guy that has potential to be a good coach, but does not meet these expectations because he's not groomed properly?
I won't say no because I would say no because here it's a little different. Dr. Parker, man, he put you in a position to be successful, and it's always about professional development, right? It's always about professional development. Me wanting to be a head coach one day, he allowed me to do things like step in for him in meetings and operational administrative things like that. So, he does that with every member on our staff, right? He try to get out of them what their goals are, right? Find out what their goals are when he interviews those guys. What do you look for? What are you looking for with this football? Are you looking to become a coordinator? Are you looking to become, a head coach? Are you looking to go to the next level? So he tried to formulate a plan, an active plan by putting you in positions to prepare you for those. So, I appreciate him for that. And since I've been here, I've had 6 head coaching interviews, unsuccessful. 2 I was a finalist for, 1 I was offered, and then 3 just weren't good fits for me, infrastructure wise. So, I'm like I said, I'm going to be where my feet is, and I'm going to do the best I can to make sure I got the best position group and the best segment, and see what happens. It's not like it used to be. It used to be, well, results will get you hired, right? Yeah. Now it's more of who knows you, and who and who you're friends with and all that stuff. But
look, Us Georgia Bulldog fans understand that, but people want to defend Mike Bobo all the time. Coach, I don't want to get you in trouble, but see, I can say it. I'm not getting paid by media. I'm not getting paid by the media just yet. I'm independent, so I'm gonna talk a little trash. I'm gonna have a little fun. But let's be honest, I got to give it to him. He's got 2 back-to-back SEC championships. That's hard to do in itself as an offensive coordinator with a lot of rotating pieces, with pressure, national title aspirations on top of that. So, but I'll say this: we all know that he got back in the door because everywhere that he's been snip or whatnot. But he got back in the door because of Kirby, like you said. So a lot of fans don't want to hear that, but I got to give another coach I got to give a shout out to is Josh Crawford, Morehouse guy. And a lot of people don't give him enough credit because he had big shoes to fill in by stepping in for Dale McGee because of what Dale McGee was producing at that running back spot. And no lie, I put you in that category with Coach McGee when you look at the type of running backs that you're helping groom. I think you're one of the best I think you're one of the best running back coaches in the country. And I'm not
Come on down to
that
Knoxville. Come on down to Knoxville. You look good in orange.
Well, I appreciate that, man. It means a lot that the results are being seen. Again, man, I would be remiss if I wouldn't say, man, it's a team effort. It's a team effort. We do it together collectively. Our running backs here wouldn't be able to get long touchdown runs if it wasn't for the receiver coach and the tight ends coach, and they wouldn't be doing well without the offensive line coaches. So, again, man, and then Coach Parker calling the plays. We do it together collectively. So I'm happy. I'm very happy. But again, I there's a lot of things that I would love to say, but in my professional capacity, I can't say those things. But I appreciate you. I appreciate you thinking that.
You won't say it. I will say it. I can be. Look, they can't do anything to me. I don't want to get you in trouble because I understand it. Because see, at the end of the day, you got to go back to that locker room, and you have people that do go back and look at interviews and things that you do, and and we both understand this. And being military, we understand there's always eyes on you. And now that you're a coach, you're kind of in that same culture. It's not like the military, but the part that's very similar is you're always going to have eyes on you. So you don't want to put yourself in a situation. But see, when you have the unsilent majority like myself, I don't speak on it all the time, but Coach Brandon tell you, in a situation, I fight hard for all HBCUs, even Grambling, and I hate Grambling. I'm a Southern guy, so I cannot stand Grambling. To this day, I cannot stand Grambling. But I will fight for all HBCUs, including Grambling as well, when it comes to talking about the coaches, talking about the talent, because you guys develop great talent. The problem is we know we know HBCUs, a lot of them financially can't compete with the bigger schools because of the donor pools and so much more that they have access to, television contracts and so many things that they have access to pretty much become factories for the NFL. And right. You guys, you know what? As much as I hate it, you're going to laugh when I say this, but HBCUs are starting to become like my branch of military service. We're the red-headed stepchild. We're holding everything together with duct tape, paper clips, toothpicks, and chewing gum. Yeah, you laughing because see, y'all Army brats are spoiled. Now, I'm an Army brat because my father was a Ranger. Rest in peace, Chris Walker. But let's be real. HBCUs is like how everybody look at the Coast Guard. Oh, y'all not real military. Oh, y'all not. They don't play no real football. Like, really? And I understand why those guys come off with a chip on their shoulder. And that's how we feel about our branch of service when we hear it. Now, you can talk a little trash about me because you said.
Well, Ryan, I'll say this, Ryan, right? We got some awesome coaching in the HBCU diaspora, man. From FCS to Division II to NAI. We got some really good ball coaches, right? And you know, I hate when they try to separate HBCU football and other football. The game is still the same. The rules are the same. Football is football, no matter where you play it, how you play it, what time you play it. It's football, right? It's football, right? And you know, I wish we could get away from the mantra of, you know, HBCU football and PWI football or FBS. And it's football, man. We're here doing the same thing. And the thing about it is, you know, the guys that's doing it on an elite level with less resources are the coaches that should get an opportunity. And if they do get an opportunity, I'm sure they'll kick the door open. You look at your Jermaine Jacksons, you look at your Chinnis Berry, man. Those guys were D2 coaches. They're kicking the door in FCS. And if you gave them an opportunity to coach on an FBS level, they'll kick the door in. I'm just waiting, right? And I'm a big advocate for Dr. Alvin Parker, right? If he was afforded an opportunity to be a head coach on the next level, he would kick the door in just because of how smart he is, the way he prepares. Right. So and other coaches know it, and they talk about it amongst themselves, but they're not going to speak out on it. I will, because I work for that man and I'm here working with him every day. So I know what he does. I know the work he put in. So again, man, I appreciate being here with him. You know, and like I keep stressing, man, I want to make sure I got the best position group and the best segment that I can possibly put to make sure these kids have the best college football experience they can have.
I agree. And when you mentioned Coach Berry over at Coach Berry at South Carolina State, it's another coach that I got to put out here that I feel like he's long overdue for a position, and I think he should get an opportunity. And I didn't like how Alcorn State did him. And Alcorn's a rival of mine, but Fred Nair, Steve Nair's brother. That man is definitely a winner. When you look at what he did with Alcorn State while he was there, and how they were competitive, how they were just went, like, they are a tough team with him when he was a head coach. I'm not taking away from him now because they're still good, but he's a guy that paid his dues. He paid his dues, just like so many, and just wasn't awarded the opportunity to coach at that level. Like, we're praying and hoping that you get that chance, because I think if anybody gives you a chance at any level, whether if they say, hey, we want you to come up here, Georgia, Tennessee, you know, even the most sorry stinking Florida Gators. If you go to Florida, I'm gonna be sick, because I know you get the University of Florida or Tennessee or somewhere like that, you gonna have many days that I'm gonna be sitting there cussing at that TV. I'm just gonna be honest with you.
Just don't go play or coach for the Aints, and we're good.
You know what? No, you know what? At that point, no. I don't want him to coach for the Aints.
No, that's what I'm saying. Don't go.
If you get a chance, look, it'll just be 2 times a year that I'm gonna say to hell with you. It's gonna be 2 times a year, because I'm a Falcon. I hate New Orleans, just like you don't like the Cowboys, being an Eagles fan. So you get it, but I would still respect you in the morning. But that's gonna be after the.
I can respect and appreciate that.
But here's the last question I got for you, Coach. With everything that you're doing now, what are your future goals, and what is the end goal of what you want to accomplish in life after you're done with coaching?
Wow. I'll go with the one in life. The one in life is, what I want to do is I want to finish my fixed wing pilot's license. Always had a dream of opening up a celebrity jet service. Leaving, you know, as an aviation guy, you know, I'm an avionics technician by trade. And you know, the aircraft are flown by instruments anyway, you know, pitch, roll, yaw. When it comes to flight, you know, I'm pretty efficient at that as well. But in life, that's what I would want to do. And live happily ever after with my beautiful wife, Dr. Sakina Ryland. That would be my last thing. But as far as coaching, man, a national championship, that would be hard, because you got FBS schools and FCS schools courting our players when it comes to this transfer portal. Over the past few years, we've had 31 players go into the transfer portal and get Division I opportunities. We lead the conference every year, year in and year out, of FBS guys going to FBS programs. We talking about West Virginia, Wake Forest, things of that nature. So, that's going to be a tough out. But right now, I let the room set their goals. And, the goals that those guys got is to win a championship, to win a national championship, to have 2 1,000-yard rushers in the same season. They're excited about being able to do that. And that's pretty much it when it comes to football. Like, the first HBCU Harlan Hill winner in the history of Division II football. I mean, that's astronomical feat, man. And I'm just so blessed that I had a hand in to the development of Curtis Allen, man. Just blessed and fortunate that he's getting an opportunity at Seattle. He also got an invite to Atlanta.
Maybe he'll show up there.
Can I'm gonna go ahead and say it. Ian Cunningham, you literally passed on a gem. That was a steal. And we've been holding on to Carlos Washington. Why? Carlos hadn't been able to crack the starting lineup. You got to, get off the practice squad. I believe if we would have had this young man, or even Jada Byers, or even Tobias, who you spoke on, I believe they could have made this team. And I believe either one of them could have probably been maybe, in the third, but we already know Bijan Robinson is a different animal. That's a God. That's just God put his hands on that guy and just threw away the mold, because he's just different. Humble young man, loves the Lord, really down to earth guy. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't want to run it back in the first round. I wanted Jalen Carter. I'll be honest with you, because your Eagles got him, and that's a dominant player. And it hurts me to see that y'all are benefiting off of that, having such a dominant player. But I got to be honest, I'm not too mad about Bijan either, because we won that offensively. But the question is, can the longevity be there? Because if his longevity isn't there, because that running style he has, I'll give you the prime example of this. It's like a deer running through the minefield with the shifts, the cuts, and the way that he runs so violently. Non-contact injuries are more likely than somebody hurting him. Right. And I'm praying that he stays healthy, right, because we've seen big backs like him, like Jamal Anderson, go down with that. So Jada, I think, would have filled the shoes, and Curtis too. But if you were to get a chance to come to Atlanta, could you please be our running back coach? Now I'm asking you this, sir.
Hey, man, if God was to bless me with an opportunity, I would definitely be elated. But again, man, I'll say this, and I can't say it enough, man. I'm blessed and fortunate to be here doing what we're doing here and being a part of history, and trying to put a claim on RBU, right? So I'm okay.
Well, if
Coach Parker does it the right way, he special teams, defense, everything. Hey, Ecclesiastes, a threefold cord is rarely broken. So,
well, I mean, we've had, you look at it, our strength and conditioning coordinator, Montario Hand, our receivers coach, and then our defensive coordinator, Edward Porter, and myself and Coach Parker. You got Coach Parker calling the offense, myself calling the special teams, Coach Porter calling the defense, and again, Coach Hand as the strength and conditioning coach. That's the nucleus of the staff. We've been here all 8 years. Coach Parker has been a head coach. So we've lost some good coaches. Like, we've lost some good coaches to FCS playoff programs like Lehigh, Mike Marita. We lose coaches, but we still have that nucleus to where we can still sustain what we do here at Virginia Union, and I know for a fact Coach Parker is appreciative of that.
And And when we look at it, I just think that I'm just enamored at that program that y'all have. And it's just watching y'all play football is just a beautiful thing. Most people just want to see points scored. Most people, I respect the fact that you guys are still modernizing the game, but you still have an old school physicality feel to the game of football. And that means a hell of a lot to me and Coach and many real fans out here who really are football fans, not just the SEC or the Big Ten. No, like I'm a football junkie. So student of the game, and I love and study how y'all play. And it's beautiful. It's just beautiful.
Coach, I got one other question for you, and I promise I could sit and talk all night, but I'll hush after this. How much contact are you all actually doing now during practice? I know it's changed, but how much has it changed for you all?
It's changed a lot. We try to practice like pros, right? So anything you're trying to get to, right, like the next level, you should want to do what the next level is doing, right?
Yep.
So with the Washington Commanders, they used to have their camps, their mini camps and all that stuff here in Richmond. We used to go over there and watch those guys, and you decrease injuries by limiting contact. And you what you do is you try to perfect the technique, right? It's more technique emphasis when it comes to tackling. So, we thump. Like Tuesday is the day that we really get it in, right? Tuesday is that day that we go hard, but then it tapers all the way off. And you got to start practicing like professionals so you can minimize injuries, because we have to have all the guys, like on our level, especially on our level, man, sometimes there's a drop off, right?
Yeah.
If your ones are down, there might be a significant drop off, and other coaches, around the country can definitely attest to that as well.
Yep. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. A lot of people don't understand that. Just wanted to get it out there for people to hear.
Now we when I say me and Coach have these conversations, we go back and forth when it comes to talking schemes, talking players, different styles. I mean, this is what we do all the time. So, we definitely enjoyed having one just talk about everything when it comes to the championships that you guys have won, just different players, and just talking about the coaches. Hopefully one day we might be able to get Coach Parker, Dr. Parker on here. That'll be my third Virginia coach I've had. I gotta look. I'm getting everything God has blessed me with being able to get you guys. I got to get Coach Pete Richardson on here, man. I've been trying to get Coach Rich on here. The SU legend. I got to get him on here.
That's old school Southern there. Winston-Salem State to Southern.
And our guy Coach Anthony Blaylock, that played at Winston-Salem State and went to the league. That was his position coach at Winston-Salem State. And most people don't know that Pete Richardson played with O.J. Simpson and those guys in Buffalo. He blew his knee out.
Wow.
That was what ended his career. And
that's a new one for me right there. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he played for the Buffalo Bills back in the day, playing with O.J. Simpson and those guys. And, like a lot of folks don't know about Coach Joe. They just remember seeing him on the sideline, but most don't know that Coach Joe was the AFL Rookie of the Year as a running back for Denver. And he got traded for Cookie Gilchrist. And ended up going to Buffalo and then going to the Jets and then getting a Super Bowl ring on top of that. And then coach for your Eagles.
Man, look.
Running back coach.
Ryan, you get it right, man. You get it right.
I'm trying to, man. Hey, so Coach Hayes wanted me to tell you, he said, when you get him on the show, also, y'all check out Coach Hayes' golf tournament if you're going to be in the Winston-Salem area, Winston-Salem, North Carolina area. Donations, he'd like to get some donations because he's giving them to HBCU programs. He hands the money to them. He doesn't keep things, just to make y'all know. You guys check it out. He's got that golf tournament going on in May around the 15th on that Friday. So if you need information of where to donate it, hit me up on the inbox. I'm definitely going to have a commercial. Just want to put that out. And he also told me to tell you, continue to keep doing the great work that you're doing, because he says your running back room is one of the best that he's seen, and he enjoys how you guys are playing physical, smart, tough football. That was from Coach Bill Hayes. I talked to him the other day.
Man, that's awesome, man. Man, look, when I was at Hampton, he used to come in my meeting rooms. That's awesome. Coach Hayes, I appreciate you, man. You know, your words of wisdom, it's running through me, and I appreciate that, along with Coach Taylor and Coach Bailey, man. When you've been around legends of the game, you got to hush and listen.
And that's let talk. I ask them a question, and I just sit back and I just do this. I let them talk, you know, because before we let you go, did Coach Bailey ever tell you, did Coach Dr. Bailey ever tell you that he still holds a grudge against Coach Hayes a little bit?
Nah, he didn't.
Oh, so he told the story over the phone, and Coach Hayes kind of laughs about it to this day. So you know that former Dallas Cowboy running back Timmy Newsome is Dr. Bailey's cousin and was supposed to go to Virginia Union. Coach Hayes took him right from up under his nose. So Dr. Bailey is still a little steamed about that one. Ask him about it. He'll tell you. And he said, that's my good buddy.
I'm going to ask him about it next time he on campus, man. Coach Bailey is always here. So next time I see him, I'm definitely going to ask him about that. I'm going to mess with him too.
Yeah, because he still to this day, he said, he stole my blood right from under my nose. But tell the folks where they can find you at if you have any plugs, social media plugs, or you know, also if you're running any training camps or you're looking for some more talent. Let them know where they can find you, Coach.
You can follow me on Twitter. I'm sorry, no longer Twitter, X. DL Ryland. You know, and it'll pop up. You put, you know, at DL, it'll come right up. Diego Ryland, you'll see it. Follow me, send me a message. You know, for the young coaches out there, man, if you need help with anything, especially if you're a running back coach, give me a shot, man. I definitely like to help anyone that's looking to become a better coach. One of the coaches came by here, Coach Wise, just got a job at a D3 school. He came by, sat with me for 2 days, and he got a job, man. So Coach Wise, man, go get it. Another coach, Coach Hammond, got an opportunity to coach at University of Richmond. He was the receivers coach at Millersville. Put him in connection with those guys at University of Richmond and got him squared away. So, you know, I'm always in the boat of helping young men find their dreams, goals, and aspirations. So, again, man, you can reach me right here. I'm on LinkedIn as well, Diego Ryland, just my name. So shoot me a message.
Most definitely, Coach. We definitely appreciate you coming through. I had to make sure that I showed the folks the page so you know exactly who it is or whatnot, and you don't pull up anything that doesn't need to be pulled up. So wanted to make sure that they had that. Coach, we definitely look forward to you guys' future success this season or whatnot. I will be at one or two of your games this year. I told you I go to the Lincoln game because it's right up the road when you have.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna tell you how much I have respect for you. I don't ever miss sitting down in front of the TV. You watch Georgia, Florida. That is the same day Georgia, Florida plays. So what I'm gonna do, because you gave time to us today, I'm gonna put my dogs aside for a little bit, and I'm gonna come support you guys and drive on down over to Lincoln and watch you guys handle business.
Man, I appreciate it, man. I really do. Thanks for having me on, Coach B. Man, it's great meeting you. I definitely, hopefully we can have a conversation offline, continue to network. And it's always good to meet good people, man. And you guys are some good guys. I appreciate that.
I'll make sure that I get you Coach Brandt's information too.
So yes, sir. Keep up the good work. God bless.
Thank you. That's Coach Diego Ryland in the building, Virginia Union legend. In the making, by the way. I say he got 2,000 yards to say that. So he's humble about it, but we'll toot his horn for him. Yeah. So, but Coach, this has been a hell of an episode, man.
Man, thank you for having me on. That was one of my favorite shows. So thank you. Big fan.
Definitely had to. Well, I definitely had to get you on there because I know, when you talk Virginia Union, it's just like you talk about VAU like I talk about, VUU like I talk about Southern. So, it's they've been around. You had some kids you knew to go there, so it is what it is at that point. But hey man, we got a show we're gonna probably end up doing Saturday. Talk about draft class. So man, definitely had that link for you.
All right, good deal. Well, thank you again.
Yes, sir.
Hey, everybody be good. Take care. Tell everybody you love them. Lean on everybody. Give everybody a hug.
Thanks. And on that note, we're going to end that one. Thanks, Coach. Y'all be blessed. Check us out Saturday. We're going to have a show talking about the draft and a few other things that we got going on with the Falcons and whatnot. We just had to take a break from the monotony and bring a great guest and a humble guest and an American hero into this building with us tonight just to tap in with the BirdCage, man. It was definitely an honor to have Coach Ryland on the Perch, man. Y'all be blessed. Y'all hit that like button on the way out if you hadn't hit it, man. That's the lifeline of the show. We love you. We'll catch you next time. Ghost.